Now, I think it's absolutely fantastic that I can start a video and actually be really super positive about some changes that Blizzard have made. And when I'm talking about changes, I'm specifically referring to the Fisher Stones. So that's the currency that we're going to be getting from the new Inferno dungeons, and they've adjusted the prices of certain items and added a bunch of items as well that I just want to have a quick look at. This video shouldn't take too long because I just want you to just be armed with the information ready for reset day, because literally in a couple of days you're going to be able to farm these Inferno dungeons, get your ults geared, get those missing items on your mains that maybe have just evaded you. Maybe you've been like specifically running 10-man heroic through tier 11, and for some reason, like me, having done lots and lots and lots of 10-man heroic clears on my paladin, never saw Ash Candy. It's kind of completely irrelevant that I've never seen Ash Candy though, because that hasn't been added to the vendor. But anyway, what have they done? So firstly, they've adjusted the cost on the tier head and the tier shoulders. These are now only 32 Fisher Stones each. It's worth mentioning these still are normal items, so they are just the normal 359 tier, not the heroic 372. But when they're 32, you've got to look at each dungeon that you do, as in each Inferno dungeon you do, you're going to get probably an average of, let's say, 9 or 11. You get 5 from the last boss, providing you killed all the other bosses. And if you was to say, on average, there's 2 or 3 other bosses, then yeah, you're looking at 9 to 11 in each run. Now, obviously, some heroics have got more bosses than others, but I used Grimbatal as an example in the last video. That's the only one that I actually bothered completing on this character, and I got 11 from there. So you're looking at, on average, say 3 to 4 dungeons to get each piece of tier, which, to be fair, on the basis the Inferno dungeons are not actually that difficult, this is pretty decent. They've also adjusted the price on the satchels. Now, just to clear up what these satchels actually are, you're going to get the items from Throne of the Four Winds. So you've got Cloudburst cloaks, you've got Rouser belts. Now, basically, the secondary stats are still going to be random. That's why they've made them even cheaper. So you can now get a 372 cloak, a 372 neck, a 372 ring, all of these just for 12 each. The only thing that's more expensive than 12 is the legs, which is actually only 21. Now, what you've got to remember is you may have to buy quite a few of these, because you're going to probably try and get the perfect roll, because the primary stats are set in stone, but the secondary stats is going to be obviously what you're gunning for. So, for example, if you want Spirit and Mastery and you get one that's crit and haste, you might want to then buy another one to try and get it. But you do still have that chance of getting a mount in the bags as well, which obviously that's something at least. Personally, though, I would say if you're gearing up an ult, or you're just trying to get your character ready for Firelands, then you're probably just going to buy one of these, accept whatever secondary stats it's got on it, and move on to the next. Now, they've also added all the weapons, shields, offhands. Now, this is like 2-hand, 1-hand, like absolutely every weapon from tier 11, but it is just the normal versions. Now, I know many of you are going to be crying out, much like I did in a video, I don't know, a few days ago, where I actually said that the 372 weapons should just be put on here, because you're going to be able to get 378 literally the following reset. I kind of see why they've put 359 on, and I actually don't think it's that bad of a thing, because you can get 365 weapons crafted. So it's probably to not shaft people that have done all of the Molten Front dailies to be able to unlock recipes and make gold from 365 weapons, for them to then just put loads of 372 weapons on this vendor. And now all of that wasted time doing all the Molten Front dailies, if you was doing it for the recipes, yeah, it was just a waste. So actually not putting the 372 weapons on, if their reasoning purely is to do with the 365 crafted weapons, like I would probably guess it is, then actually I think that's pretty decent. At the same time though, I do agree with everyone who's currently commenting saying, no one cares bro, just give us the 372 weapons, because if they was on here, I'd also be pretty happy about that. But in general, the weapons and that are not that expensive. You're looking at a few Inferno dungeons and you'll be able to buy pretty much any weapon you want. The only thing I'm a bit confused about is the price on the wands. I think the wand being 30, which is the same price as a hunter's bow, seems a little bit excessive. So yeah, they might want to just look at that and put the wands down a little bit. They've also added the 372 bracers, and there is only one set of 372 bracers pretty much for each role, as in tier 11 wide. That's why getting bracers has always been like a bit painstaking. If you're unlucky and you don't see your bracers for ages, well, now you're just going to be able to do the Inferno dungeons on reset day and get them. Honestly, this is one of the best additions to the vendor in my opinion, probably better than even putting all the weapons on. And then they've also added a few other trinkets. Now, they already had Bell on there and Heart of Rage, for example, and Symbiotic Worm, but they've now put Essence of Cyclone on, Fall of Mortality, and Feralian's Mirror as well. Again, there is just one trinket missing from this, which I would like to see added, mainly for tanks, which is the Vial from Twin Dragons. I know it's not an amazing trinket. I'm talking about the stamina. I'll just put it on screen. The stamina trinket with the unused dodge. Be nice if that was put on there as well, just so like all of the trinkets are available rather than just having all of the trinkets bar one. So in Blizzard, if you see this, just bang that trinket on as well and you're laughing. And then outside of that, there's only one other thing that's been added, and that's the commendations of service. So I did say that there should be a reason to run these as somebody who doesn't need the Fisher Stones, and this is kind of their answer to that, and it does work, I suppose, because for each Fisher Stone you trade in, you can get 25 justice points. So you look at it like 250. Let's say you was getting 10 roughly, you're going to get 250 from each dungeon on top of the justice points that you're going to get as well just from doing the dungeon. So then if you're wanting to get heirlooms or you're wanting to trade these in at the goods vendor just to grab some enchanting mats or some savage leather or anything like that, then obviously there is actually reason to farm these. Because if you do inferno dungeons, and as I say, you're getting the justice points from being in the dungeon and you're getting to trade in the Fisher Stones, there's going to be no quicker way to actually get justice points if you want them for anything. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. This looks like it's highly likely to be what we see on Tuesday, unless they do just add those last couple of things. Well, mainly the trinket, the vial trinket, and possibly look at the pricing on the wand. But overall, I think really positive change. As I say, it's quite rare nowadays when I'm talking about Cataclysm to actually be like, good job, Blizzard, but really good job in my opinion. I personally would still like to see the legendary staff being sped up a little bit in 10-man, so there's not such a huge difference between 25-man and 10-man, but it looks like it's probably too late, and it's just wishful thinking to think that they will do anything now. But I still do think doubling the amount of time it takes in 10-man heroic to be able to get the staff compared to 25 heroic. See, the only thing I'm not looking forward to too much, but I am going to be doing 10 and 25-man, so I suppose I'll just shut up. It doesn't matter. If you enjoyed the video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.